All right, welcome. Welcome to Finance 101 for a college introductory course. My name is Professor Bithiah Sam Lott. I have the privilege of teaching this class. When I was a graduate student, I had the opportunity to take a budget 101 course, a finance 101 course, which changed the trajectory of my college life. I also went on to teach my spouse that, and now later, fast forward later on, down with two kids, we are implementing that in our lives today. And so this course is very near and dear to my heart. It's very important for just your livelihood, right? Beyond what you're studying in college, you can actually apply this to your life right now and see an impact. All right, so today we're focusing on how to maximize your budget. How do I do that? Let's find out. Okay, so before we begin, I have paired you all up in groups. I want you all to implement a strategy that I call think, pair, share. So I want you all to discuss amongst yourself, amongst your group, what it means to live like no one else so that you can live like no one else, right? So go ahead and get into your groups. I want you all to write 5 to 7 sentences summarizing what you all have discussed and have come up with in terms of defining what this quote means. All right, I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, time's up. So now I want you all to give me your feedback. I want you all to share your feedback with the entire class. Yeah, absolutely. You may select a group lead, and if anybody else in your team wants to chime in as well, that's fine. Excellent. So now that all of the groups in the class have had a chance to share their interpretation of this quote, I want you all to watch this small, very short video on what it means to live like no one else. So let's take a look. Good. Okay, awesome. I'm hearing so many chitters and chatters about this. Some of you were very on point. Some of you were looked at this quote from a different perspective, and that's okay. But now we've heard from, the person who quoted it, and now we understand what was meant by this quote. So that's good. All right, let's move on to the next thing. I hope you all are a little bit more fired up about this introductory course. I know it's talking about money can be a scary thing, but we have to change that, right? And it starts with having knowledge. So I want you all to also watch this video. In your group, I want you all to start talking about debt. What does it mean to have financial freedom? What does it mean to find freedom from or gain freedom from debt? What does that mean? And do you even believe in that? All right, so I'll give you all 5 minutes to discuss. All right, time's up. Time's up. I want you all to keep that in mind. Any insight you've gained from your other peers, I want you all to keep that in mind as we progress through this course. So there are some vocabulary words that I want you to write down now. I want you all to understand what it means to leverage when it comes to your finance. I want you all to understand what internal rate of return means. And then I also want you all to understand the NPV, the net present value. Okay, these are terminologies that we will revisit next class. Okay, I just want to put that in front of you so you understand that there's more to finances than beyond your budget, right? But it begins with budgeting. All right. So the objective of this class is for you to understand, number one, how to leverage your debt. Okay. Leveraging your debt starts with budgeting. If you're able to leverage your debt, then you'll know how to invest, you know how to save, you know how to allocate funds to different aspects of your life, right? So to your housing, to your food, to your clothing, all those things, right? And that is where you get to understand the internal rate of return comes in when you start investing. And then the net present value also comes in when you understand what your finances is doing, right? The cash flow. What is my cash flow doing, and is it how is it how is my cash flow in terms of doing or performing in terms of my investment, in terms of my savings, in terms of my emergency fund, in terms of my just everyday cash flow, what I use it for every day. Okay. All right. So keep those in mind. All right. So there's some quotes that I want us to ponder over. So Zig Ziglar said, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every single time, right? So if there's a dart, or what do you call a dartboard, those circle thing, the target, and I hit, and I'm not aiming at it per se, but I'm turned diagonally away from the target board, and I'm looking maybe somewhere in the trees, we're in the forest somewhere, and we're just, you know, throwing some arrows, and I'm just shooting anywhere, right? Shooting my arrow anywhere. I'm going to aim at nothing. But once I focus my eyes on that target board, even if I don't hit the eye, I may hit some part of the circle. That means I'm targeting something and I'm getting closer. It's the same thing with our finances. When we begin to change our mind from just living anyhow to coming down to planning and budgeting for our finances, we will hit certain goals that we never thought were attainable. Okay. And I am a testament to that. Saving is not a mathematical problem. Saving is an emotional problem. It's very true. Should I go buy that box of pizza? Or should I go and get groceries? And for my calculations, what I want may cost me less if I make it myself. Okay. So it's not necessarily a mathematical problem. It is the emotional ties that we have to the things that we like, or the things that we've created habits around. Okay. You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. Expect the best, prepare for the worst. Okay. Capitalize on what comes. And then this is a scripture, as if any one of you have heard about Dave Ramsey, he's really big on connecting finances to biblical principles. So this is Proverbs 22:7, and you all may read it at your leisure. Okay. And the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender, is what Proverbs 22:7 says. Alrighty, so this is just a flash. Dave Ramsey, he is the mastermind behind the baby step process. He's also the mastermind, which we're going to get in depth, get into. He is also the mastermind for, he's also the mastermind for baby steps. I'm sorry, baby steps, and Everyday Dollar, which is an app that you all also can download. We're going to use that in this class to practice how to budget. Okay, statistics. So to make this make sense to you and to also create a sense of urgency as to why this is important, I put together some statistics for you to maybe put into perspective. As of 2013, up to 77% of all college students had credit card debt, according to Salome. A median debt of $449 and a minimum debt of $136. Okay. How much do you think the average person spends on coffee annually? Okay. So those of us who are, well, I'm a tea person, but those of you who are coffee addicts, gotta have your coffee every morning, you understand, right? You understand that sometimes you understand the emotional tie you have to wanting coffee every morning. But what you don't realize is if you're not budgeting, you don't see where the money is going. And if you're budgeting, you may make your own coffee at home instead of going to one of those big chain restaurants, right? Namely Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts. Some people get McDonald's coffee. Wherever you like to go every morning, just know that $14 a week. Okay, so a cup of coffee, one cup of coffee can range from $5 to $6. $4 to $6. Just one cup of coffee. So let's say if you get one every single morning, let's say it costs $5. 5 times 5 is what? That's $25. But let's just say on average you spend $14.40 a week on coffee alone. That's $1,000 annually. Okay. How much does the average person spend on fast food? That's another one. So let's say you spend $100 on food every single month. That's $1,200 a year. Now, again, these numbers are very generous because those of us who eat fast food, we know that we spend more than $100 a month. If you go to fast food like Chick-fil-A, and let's say it's you and maybe your family or maybe just you're spending anywhere from $15 to $30 just that one specific drive-through, just that one instance of drive-through. So it adds up. Okay, so the advice here is save money by cutting off unnecessary costs. Do I really need this fast food today? No, probably not. Okay, so let's get into it. So let's talk about the 7 baby steps. You'll see somewhere that it says the 8 baby steps. It really depends on, what you're considering. There's a giving portion of this. There's so many. So anyway, let's focus on the 7 baby steps. I heard that question back there. So yes, I've seen 8 baby steps, but in this class, we'll be doing the 7 baby steps. Okay, so step 1. Depending on your income, it is advised that you should have at least $500 to $1,000. Okay, $500 to $1,000 as an emergency fund. How do I build that? Well, let's say, for example, let's just say that you get $100 allowance every single week. Okay, so you take $100, and let's say you can spare eating at a fast food restaurant maybe three times a week. You don't eat fast food. Okay, that can save you at least, so you get $100 a week, you can save $20. 20 times 4. So let's say there's 4 weeks in that specific, generally 4 weeks in a month. Some months have 5 weeks, but we're going to go with 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, you could have saved at least $80. And some of you may say, well, $80 is so far away from $500 or so far away from $1,000, but $80 a month, at least in a year, is $960. Okay, that is $960. That is only $40 shy of $1,000. And you're still over your $500 mark with just $100 a week of income or of allowance. Okay. All right. So if you have any debt, let's be realistic. You're in college. You're probably not working as much or not working at all. So paying all of your debt off, if you have any, may be a little bit unrealistic, but trying to also put something towards your debt helps. So let's say if maybe paying as low as $5, $10. You know what your debt looks like. You know what your money looks like. You should be able to calculate that. And we'll do that in the app and it'll do that for you. So you saved your $500 to $1,000, or you're on your way to save that, right? And you're on your way to save that. Now it says at least have 6 months of expenses. So let's truly say that you spend, if it's $100 a week, $100 times 4, right? It's $400. So let's say it takes you $400 to survive every single month while you're in college. Okay, again, I'm shooting the ball really low. Some of you may have higher livelihood, you may live on a higher budget or a lower budget. Make it work for you. So if it's $400 a month, do times 6. That's $2,400. So outside of your emergency fund, you should be putting something else away that will help you in case of a rainy day, in case mom and dad can send you an allowance, or in case you have to leave that job to what do you say, to focus more on school. All right, we're gonna move a little bit quickly. Okay, so invest 15% of your household income. Again, this, you have to see if this fits you, if this works for you. If you have no income, that's fine. You can skip some of these things. College fund. So making a plan on how you're going to pay college off. If you have a full scholarship, then you're good to go. If you have some um, college loans, then you'll figure out a way to pay that off. But for those of you that are in college and you're bombarded with your classes, I would say don't worry about this part. Don't worry about step 5 yet, step 6, and also step 7 per se. Okay. Now, I am a firm believer, while Dave Ramsey may recommend to do these steps in order, I am a firm believer that some of these steps can be done simultaneously. Okay. Step 1 and step 3, probably. Step 1, 2, 3, probably. But he also advised that at least if you have your emergency fund, you can put that away and then you can start saving for the 3 to 6 months. Okay. And then you can start paying down debt. So debt can wait. Okay. In some cases, debt can wait. All right, moving on. Okay, so this is just an overview of what I wanted you to see as somebody else's budget may look like. But on average, food should only cost you 5 to 15% of your income. Okay, charity is really good to give if you have a church that you like to give to, or a nonprofit organization, Relay for Life. I mean, all of these other organizations. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just calling out what just came in mind. That you should budget for that. Okay, we don't just give just to give. We have to give within our budget as well. Okay. I think it's really, really important that your giving falls within your budget. All right. So housing, your housing should cost you 25 to 35%. So I want you all to break into groups, and I'm getting a lot of questions. So I'm going to go around and answer all your individual questions. But now we're going to break into groups, and I want you to cover, put together your income, calculate everything that we've done using these percentage. I want you to discuss, if you feel comfortable, this is an individual thing, but I want you all to break out into groups to discuss what this look like. And then individually, I want you to create your own budget. Okay, I'm coming around to answer all your questions. I hear them. Oh, I see your hands actually. And I hear the little murmurs. I hear it. Well, how about this, Miss Bithiah? I'm coming to answer that for you. But clothing, transportation, and entertainment should fall within 35%. Okay. All right. Okay, now we're back. I've answered all your questions. I've gone around. All your budgets are looking amazing and looking really good. You're asking specific questions, all the right questions. I'm so happy. Okay, so this is the budget sheet that I gave you all. This is what you all have filled out. And so now we are going to do an example together. Awesome. Excellent. Okay, awesome. So now we've gone through this whole monthly budget example. We are done. We are going to move forward to the next thing. I hope you all enjoy the class. Yeah? Awesome. Okay. So this is an example of what your budget can look like with a yearly amount of $30,000. Your cash flow can look like this on a monthly basis. Okay, this is an example to make sure that you're falling within the suggested percentage. Alrighty, so budget. If you're making 1,000, if you want to save, so this is a saving for specifically for saving. So if the goal is to get to $1,000 or to get to $5,000, well, I'm sorry. The goal is to increase your budget over time. So starting from learning how to, outside of your emergency fund, outside of your 6 month of expenses saved, then now you can understand how to save for extra things, right? So let's say year one, I want to save an extra, I want to start with $1,000. Year two, I can get to $2,000. Maybe by year three, my income has increased. I'm out of college. I have a job. I have a salary. And now I'm saving $5,000 annually. That is possible. Okay. So GOC is simply known, God only knows, grandma's rainy day savings is really important. Okay. So the 3 to 6 months of expense can also be used for can be used for a moment of God, right? God only knows what you're going through. Okay, so this is a quick touch on what you must do before you start investing, right? What must you do before you start investing? So now we're recapping. We are all done with this introductory course. I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back. And I want you all to um, take a glance at your papers and your budget sheets and be proud of yourself because you have started something that most adults don't even know how to do. Okay. And starting now is very, very, very important. So let's recap really quickly. What have we learned today? Before you start investing, make sure that you, I know my slide says make sure that you've completed your all your baby steps, but I would say this, make sure that you've completed at least your emergency fund before you start investing. Okay, very, very important. If you make less than $20,000, at least save $500 for your emergency fund. Okay, if you make more than $20,000, then $1,000 is suggested or more. Okay, so pay off your debt. Make sure you pay off your debt with the exception of your student loans. Some debt just within reason. Again, I'm saying Dave Ramsey's method is great, but I have personally taken his fundamentals and have created my own. Okay. So I'm not teaching strictly what he says, but I'm giving you a framework for you to see and for you to know how to finagle and how to make it work for you. Okay. Obviously, his method has worked for many, many people. Some people may not also like his method, but I want to make sure that I'm not imposing one financial idea on you, that I'm giving you a framework for you to follow. Okay. So you may complete at least the first baby step, the emergency, because anything can happen. Okay, very important. And then debt. There's some debt you can get out of, meaning they will garnish your paycheck if you don't pay. Those debt, get rid of. The debt that can stall a little bit, find a way to make sure that it's not accruing interest, that it's stable and it's great so that you can use that money to fuel other things that are more demanding. Okay. That's how you work around that. Okay. And then also, I want you also to after that, then I want you to look into investing. In the next class, we'll look into investing. We'll talk about all the perks of investing, starting as simple as, as current day, Cash App has great tools for you to start investing as what I call baby investing. And then you can get into, we can start talking about your 401ks, which comes from your corporate job or, whatever job provides that type of retirement plan, your Roth IRA, your IRA. Those are some other source of investing. Okay, we're going to get into all of that. So, a recap. Emergency fund you must have. Okay, you start budgeting, set a budget so you know how much to put away. Start cutting off unnecessary spending habits. Fast food, if you can cook it yourself, if you can make it at home, it's healthier, number one. It's fresher, number two, and it saves you more money. Okay, if you can make your coffee or tea at home, do it at home as often as you can. So with that being said, I'm so glad that we've come to an end of this course. I'm so happy that you all have been enlightened. I've heard all your comments, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the semester progresses. And the next steps, again, will be investment. With that being said, turn in all of your exit tickets, worksheets on my desk, and you are good to go. Awesome. You all did wonderful.